Hello everyone, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to Catechism for Kids. Today we're going to travel back in time, almost 1,000 years ago, to meet a real-life queen who was also a great saint. Have you ever heard of Saint Margaret of Scotland? She was an English princess who became one of Scotland's most beloved queens. Not because of her crown, but because of her huge heart full of love. She's sometimes called the Pearl of Scotland, and you're about to find out why. Let's start at the beginning. Margaret was born around the year 1045. Not in England or Scotland, but far away in Hungary. Her family was English royalty, but they were living in exile. When she was a young girl, her family finally returned to England, but their stay was short. After a big battle called the Battle of Hastings, her family had to flee again. They set sail, hoping to go back to the continent, but a huge storm blew their ship off course. Where did they land? You guessed it, Scotland. This was around the year 1068. In Scotland, they were welcomed by the king, a man named Malcolm III. King Malcolm was very impressed by Margaret's kindness, intelligence, and deep faith. He was a widower with 2 sons, and he saw that Margaret, being a member of the old English royal family, would make a wonderful queen. In 1070, they were married. And this is where Margaret's amazing story as Queen of Scotland truly begins. Margaret didn't just wear a crown. She used her position as queen to do so much good. It's said that her gentle and loving nature had a wonderful effect on her husband, King Malcolm. He was known to have a bit of a temper, but Margaret's influence helped him become a kinder and more just ruler. She would read him stories from the Bible, and he admired her piety so much that he had her prayer books decorated with gold and silver. It shows just how much he loved and respected her. Together, Margaret and Malcolm had 8 children, 6 sons and 2 daughters. Can you imagine having 7 siblings? She was a loving mother, and she taught her children to be kind, generous, and faithful. She raised them so well that 3 of her sons, Zedgar, Alexander, and David, grew up to become kings of Scotland. And one of her daughters, Edith, who later changed her name to Matilda, married the King of England and became a queen herself. So Margaret was a queen, the mother of 3 kings, and the mother of a queen. What a family. Now, what made Margaret a saint? It was her incredible charity and her deep love for God. She believed that being a queen meant serving others, especially the poor and the sick. Every single day before she ate her own meal, she would personally feed orphans and poor people. She would even wash the feet of the poor, just as Jesus did for his apostles. She would stay up late at night to pray and attend church services. Her life was a constant prayer. Margaret also worked hard to help the church in Scotland. She wanted the practices in Scotland to be more like the rest of the Catholic Church in Europe. She encouraged the proper observance of Lent and Easter and promoted the use of Latin in the Mass. She also founded many religious institutions. One of her most famous projects was establishing a Benedictine abbey at a place called Dunfermline. This became a very important religious center in Scotland. Do you know what else she did? Many pilgrims wanted to travel to a holy site called St. Andrews, but they had to cross a wide body of water called the Firth of Forth. It was a difficult journey. So Queen Margaret established a free ferry to help them cross safely. Because of her, the towns on either side are still called South Queen's Ferry and North Queen's Ferry today. She also had a special secret spot, a little cave in Dunfermline, where she would go to pray quietly by herself. This cave is now known as Saint Margaret's Cave. Margaret's life wasn't without sadness. In the year 1093, her husband King Malcolm and their oldest son Edward were killed in a battle. Margaret was already very ill, and when she heard the heartbreaking news, she died just 3 days later. It is said she died of grief. She was buried at Dunfermline Abbey, the very place she had helped to build. Because of her holy life, her great charity, and her work for the Church, Pope Innocent IV declared her a saint in the year 1250. Her feast day is on November 16th, the day of her death. Today, people still visit Scotland to see places connected to her. In Edinburgh Castle, there is a tiny, beautiful chapel called Saint Margaret's Chapel. It was built by her son, King David, in her honor, and it's the oldest building in all of Edinburgh. It's a small place, but it reminds everyone of the huge heart of this amazing queen. So what can we learn from Saint Margaret of Scotland? She teaches us that true greatness doesn't come from power or riches. It comes from having a heart full of love for God and for other people. She was a queen, a wife, a mother, and a saint. and she showed that you can be a leader by being loving, generous, and kind. Holiness isn't about wearing a crown. It's about having a heart that wants to serve. Saint Margaret is a wonderful example for all of us, showing how we can make the world a better place through faith and charity. Thank you for joining us today to learn about the incredible life of Saint Margaret, the Pearl of Scotland. I hope her story inspires you to be a little bit kinder and more generous every day. Don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe to St. Joseph's Corner for more stories about the saints. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. See you next time, and God bless you always.